Hello everyone, Josh here with Texas bringing you another Summoner's Kingdom Goddess, and today we're going to be talking about what some of the best non-light or dark units are in the entire game. Now, I've been playing this game on multiple servers, including server 1, which I'm back on now. I haven't been on this account for a few days, but there is a lot of good stuff to talk about when it comes to non-light or dark units, some of which are extremely free-to-play friendly, like Valkyrie, which we're going to be getting into later today. And there's a lot of different ways that you can utilize getting lots of dupes of these particular characters that we're talking about here today in today's video, which will help you become very, very powerful as a free-to-play player. So definitely stay tuned. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first, I'm going to go ahead and go over to my my hero panel here, my hero page. Now, we will be doing a few summons here as well. I do have some summons to use, so we're going to go ahead and blow through them. Talk a little bit about how you can also utilize summons as a free-to-play to get some of these certain units. Now, you'll see here the team that I'm pretty much using right now is Valkyrie, Wukong, Aphrodite, Eros, and then just kind of a throw in that 5th slot. You get to run 5 units at a time. Now, keep in mind, I am not running my personal optimal 5 units that are light, that are non-light or dark, that I consider top tier units. For example, Tracy, Arida, Joan of Arc, Nightingale, Damianos, Icarus, blah, 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 blah. Those units really do not concern me in the slightest. They're just kind of what I have to throw in there at the moment because of the star ups that I have available from all the dupes that I got. But there is one hero completely missing from this list, and we will talk about that hero later as well. So, we have Valkyrie and Wukong and Aphrodite. Those 3 are the top 3. Not only just top 3 free to play, but top 3 non-light or dark heroes in the entire game. And we're going to talk about why those 3 units are so powerful, what makes them so special, and why I consider them so damn good. So this game has a cool little collection area, kind of like the gallery. We're going to look at a few units and stuff like that. Now, technically, Wukong, SP Wukong, who's in a category of his own, right? He's in his own freaking universe. This guy's technically a non-light or dark, and you're probably thinking, well, Josh, isn't he freaking OP? Isn't he amazing? He's an SP, right? He's above SSR. You're right on all accounts. Problem is, he is pay to win. So we are discounting him. Matter of fact, I believe the only way you can even get him is through spending money. So he's just kind of not relevant to the discussion at all, even though he is technically non-light or dark. So just kind of want to get that out of the way early. But down here, now we have 5 units. There's only 5 units in the game currently that can awaken, which basically gives them additional stat boost and allows them to have an additional skill. Okay? There's only 5 currently in the game right now, and that is Prometheus, Eros, Aphrodite, Valkyrie, and Wukong. Now, that does not mean that those are the top 5 non-light or dark units in the game that you can get, because that's technically not true. There is one other unit that is amazing, and I believe he's also a fire as well. Let me go to fire real quick, just to make sure that he's in there. Okay, so he is in there. I'm not going to tell you who it is just yet, so stay tuned. But he is in here, and it's not Prometheus. So there is one other. There is a 6th unit. Even though he does not awaken, he's OP. All right? Fire's got a pretty solid team if you want to be if you want me to be blunt. They have a very solid lineup. A lot of the units in this list right here are actually pretty strong. I think you could just get rid of Lorenzo and Richard. You probably don't really need those 2. And then you could run the other 5, and you got yourself a really solid fire team. Especially if you're building around the ignition or ignites in this game, which is kind of their version of burns, which is also a dot damage over time. All right. Anyway, let's go back to all now. Let's talk about these 5 awakened heroes. So we have Prometheus, who is the first one you can see right down here. They have an awakening mechanic, which gives them an additional passive. Okay, so that is Prometheus. And then we have our girl Eros, and then we have Aphrodite, and then we have Valkyrie, and then to finish it off, we have Wukong. And you'll notice they all have awakens. And if we even go to the big boy, the SP Wukong, he doesn't even have an awaken, right? And then if we go to anybody after, like a Muse, who is a light hero, or even a dark hero down here like Siegfried, which is also an amazing hero, also no awaken. So again, There was 5 units in the game that can be awakened currently, but of those 5, only 3 of them stand out, and we've already talked about those: Wukong, Valkyrie, and Aphrodite. Now, don't get it twisted. Eros is not only free to play, you can get, free copies of her throughout the game, especially in Tower, but she is not going to be in that top tier of the non-light or dark units, like a Wukong, Valkyrie, or Aphrodite. Eros is going to be able to provide you with a lot of burst DPS, has ignitions and everything else like that, and can even create an additional damage stacks on top of the original ignition. But she's not going to be outperforming the DPS of a Wukong or a Valkyrie, based on a lot of different aspects, which we'll get into when we talk about their skills. Prometheus, an amazing buffer. If you're looking to get a lot of free crit and a lot of free damage increase on your highest attacker in your team, Prometheus is going to be a great buffer. But his buffing is not quite as good as Aphrodite. Aphrodite is just a better overall buffer, just flat out. So, I just wanted to kind of make that clear. Eros is a great DPS, just not as good as Valkyrie and Wukong because of the way that the game works and how they utilize themselves and their skill sets. Even though Valkyrie's technically a tank, you're going to see why she's so good in a moment. Aphrodite, just a straight up better buffer than Prometheus, even though Prometheus is really good. So, that is kind of how that breaks down. Now, before we talk about those top 3, the 2 water units and our earth unit, we do have, as we said, we've alluded to, there was another fire hero that cannot awaken. And I didn't want to include him in my top 3 because you do have to get him, I believe, to 8 or 9 star before he can become this powerful. And that is one of the most annoying characters in the entire game. And you will see him quite often, ladies and gentlemen. And that is Edward the First. This mother effer right here will drive you insane, because he has an ability that will just piss you off. So, when we go into his skills, and you go over here to his passive, King's Aggressiveness. Oh boy. Actually, I'm looking at the wrong skill here. There we go. King's Blessing. At level 2, additionally gain Immortal status, which can be triggered up to 1 time per battle. When he is in freaking Immortal status, he retains at least 1 health and cannot die for 10 seconds. That is plenty of time for him to be able to get another ult off, which adds a giant flaming shadow aura on the sword and cross slashes all enemies ahead, dealing 750% physical damage if the target is ignited, which this is kind of what I was alluding to with the whole burn team. If you wanted to make just a mono fire team down the road, he deals an additional 350% damage. That's over 1,000%. That is actually 1,100% total damage if they're already ignited on an ultimate that he's going to be able to get off for free, because he's basically going to be alive for 10 more seconds, taking a lot of beatings and just building up his rage, which is this game's ultimate bar mechanic. So that is absolutely disgusting. This guy literally just going to be immortal for 10 seconds. Now, there are ways you could deal with him. The Dark Knight, the Dark Hero, going to be very hard to get, dupes of him, obviously, because he's a dark and light unit. He has anti-immortality. He can deal with a unit like Edward. You also have units that can freeze or apply dizzy or something like that to kind of, crowd control, lock him down a bit until his immortality ends. The problem is, since this game is kind of an auto battler, it's not a proper turn-based or anything like that, you can't really pick and choose when those abilities are going to go off, and usually those crowd control mechanics are very low chance to go off in the first place outside of certain situations. So there's still going to be a very high chance that Edward's just going to completely bulldoze his way through all that nonsense outside of Dark Knight and just do whatever he wants for 10 seconds, including beating on you and using ultimates, making him not only a very powerful unit in DPS and survivability, but he can also be used as a pretty good tank because of that. And in this game, 10 seconds is a long ass time. So I just want to kind of give him an honorable mention. Edward is very, very powerful. However, because of how many star ups you got to do to unlock that on his passive, or on his ability rather, whatever, you can't put him in the top 3. He cannot still go over Valkyrie, Wukong, or Aphrodite, who just worked day one right out of the gate. Just purely, you pull them and they're ready to go. All right, now let's go in order of what I consider from top 3 to top 1, like the number 1, numero uno. And funny enough, they're already kind of in that order for me from left to right. So, starting with Aphrodite at number 3. Why is she so freaking good? Well, not only is she one of the few units in the game that can awaken, she's the best damage buffer in the game, non-light or dark unit. So let's look at one of her big buffs. She has Revival. Consumes all rage to fully restore the rage of the ally with the highest combat power. Now keep that in mind. Combat power is not highest attack. Combat power is right here. See her combat power? 4,119,000. That is the combat power. So keep that in mind when you're trying to build up a unit that you want to utilize with that ultimate, that they have the highest combat power when you get into battle. But they get 40, and I mean 40% attack bonus for 7 seconds, which is absolutely insane, and basically refills the rage bar. Basically, if they just use an ultimate, they're going to be basically able to use an ultimate yet again. Aphrodite's buff from her ultimate for one of your main DPSs is going to be absolutely insane. Now, that is not all she has to offer. She also offers Power of Love. Yeah, a little cheesy, but who cares? So, she increases the attack and defense of the allied hero with the highest battle power, yet again, by 20%. So that is absolutely insane. And it's of her own attack and defense. It's not just, oh, here's a, free 20% attack and defense from you. No, it's 20% attack and defense from herself. Now, this is going to play a very crucial role in these other 2 units we're talking about, because both the units we're talking about next aren't technically predominantly going to be your DPS, especially Valkyrie. She's supposed to be a tank. Her attack stat supposed to be a little bit lower, as is Wukong's, versus some of the more just pure DPSs in the game that can get up to, mid to high 80k maxed out level 300, whatever, right? That's how high those units' attacks can get. Theirs don't get quite that high because they're not supposed to be pure DPSs, but the way their mechanics work, it makes them the best at what they do, and that is just causing chaos and destroying everything. So this is going to be very important because you actually can get quite a bit of attack on Aphrodite. 70,985 without anything additional at just straight Ancient 5 level 300. You see right there, 70,985. Whereas you can see Valkyrie, her attack stat only goes up to 48k, right? And then even Wukong, not too much more than that at 71,000. If you go back and look at a unit, for example, a pure DPS like Eros, they're getting up to, in the high 80k mark, right? But it still doesn't matter because it all comes down to skills, modifiers, and just overall usefulness in battle when it comes to DPS in this game. It's not just about pure, just raw power. It's about survivability. It's about, how much damage can you do and how fast can you do it? And does it scale like globally, like across the whole field? Or is it just single target, etc.? There's a lot of factors involved. And these 2 units we're about to talk about right now cover that in spades. So let's talk about Valkyrie. My number 2 choice in the game right now, non-light or dark. So she is a tank. She's going to have tons of HP, tons of defense, which can be very good for your front line. She's going to be good to just neutralize a lot of damage. Now let's look at her kit real quick. Deals 1,500% physical damage to all enemies with guaranteed hit. That is very important. They cannot dodge it, okay? And it hits the entire field. It's not a semi-AoE. It's not a single target. It literally hits all enemies. All of them. If Frost Grip is unlocked, cast Frost Grip on the 2 enemies with the highest health. While the shield effect is active, link all allied heroes transferring 35% of the damage they receive to yourself. The transfer damage does not exceed your current health. And that, of course, at level 2 increases the number of enemies affected by Frost Grip to 3. We're going to talk about what Frost Grip does in a moment. Sorry about my voice, ladies and gentlemen. Still under the weather. Absorb 18% of the maximum health of the enemy with the highest health, converting it into a shield for oneself that lasts for 5 seconds. Additionally, reduce the damage taken by oneself by 20% for 10 seconds. Skill 3. Increases the life absorption effect to 20%. Increase the skill damage to 700%, which goes up to 800% after unleashing the ultimate skill. Reset the cooldown of this skill. Insane. And then at level 3, the skill additionally inflicts fixed damage equal to 20% of the current shield value. So she's providing herself with shields, health replenishment, damage mitigation. She's taking damage from your teammates. She's hitting the entire field for tons of damage. And because of all this, and utilizing her with a unit like Aphrodite, she's able to basically spam that ability. Just absolute insanity. Frost Will. Active. Raise the shield to gain 10 stacks of Frost Will. Whenever you take damage, consume 1 stack of Frost Will to reduce the damage taken by 20% and restore 5% of your maximum health and 30 rage. So again, she has a built-in battery for her ultimate on top of being able to pair up with a unit like Aphrodite. And by the way, they're both water types as well. So if you're looking for a formation bonus, you're already off to a good start with 2 strong water units. This effect has a cooldown for 1 second. Passive, every 8 seconds, Valkyrie converts 20% of the damage dealt previously into her own health. And of course, that levels up to 2, 3, and 4, etc., by going all the way up to a stack of 13. This unit is absolutely broken top to bottom. There's not really a kink in her armor anywhere. She's just an incredible unit overall, and we're not even talking about her awaken ability, where she just gains even more rage, and she has an undying mechanic. She's just top to bottom, pound for pound, one of the best units overall in the entire game. Probably top 5 in the entire game, perhaps, even if you include the light and darks. She's just a solid hero, and the best part about it all, she's 100% free to play. You get multiple copies of her just by summoning with your free summoning currency and the 2 gift codes that you can use in the game. So she's a free-to-play monster. But she does not quite stack up to the absolute animal, Son Goku, the Monkey King, Wukong. This freaking dude might be a monkey, but he is not monkeying around. This guy's a savage. So let's go into his skill set real quick. For some reason, they don't want to show me his skills. This is awesome. Let me go to the Awakening. Maybe they'll show me them here. So, Wukong apparently has no skills. That's a visual bug, and of course it would happen during the video. Let's go in here and see if I can look at him through my own panel. We'll just ignore his Awakening mechanic for now, because honestly, it just makes me more broken anyway. It's not that big of a deal. Plus, it's going to be a long time for you guys to awaken these units anyways. Outside of Aphrodite, which I believe at the end of second week, free to play, you get to awaken her. That's why she's already awakened for me. Plus, I didn't mention Aphrodite also gets a crap ton of free shards. She's the most free to play hero in the entire game, and she's right now the best buffer for free to plays and non-light dark units. So again, good stuff there. Anyways, so what is our boy Wukong doing? Why is he so crazy good? Summons 3 clones inheriting. I'm just going to be reading the modifiers based on what they are right now for me. Summon 3 clones inheriting 80% of the host attributes, but receives 220% of the damage. Meanwhile, the host disappears until all clones are gone. Yeah, he knows his dude has been teaching himself some ninjutsu. He's been practicing with our boy Naruto. Okay, he's out here making shadow clones. The host disappears until all clones are gone. Clones can be can use normal attacks and mountain crash, which we'll talk about in a moment. At level 2, clone attribute inheritance increased to 90% and damage received amplified effect reduced to 200%. And then that goes all the way up to 105%. So actually a little bit more than what his base stats are. And damage received amplified effect reduced to 180%. So he's making basically a bunch of free units on the field. He's basically taking himself out and putting 3 units in that are all going to be stronger than him but take more damage. So instead of having a team of 5 when he uses his ultimate, you're basically having a team of 7 because he replaces himself with 2 additional units, giving you basically 7 heroes on the field. That's absolutely insane. Damage in numbers, right? Crazy. Using the golden cudgel to attack surrounding enemies, dealing 550% physical damage and inflicting knockdown lasting 2 seconds. Skill damage increases to 800% at level 4. The skill is additionally bestowed with guaranteed hit, so you cannot dodge it. And it's going to be doing maximum damage. That is awesome. And it has knockdown, so when a unit gets knocked down, they're down for a couple seconds. They're staggering, trying to get back up, and you can just sit there and keep beating on them. It kind of works in a way like a crowd control mechanic, because they really can't do nothing while they're trying to get back up. Alright, skill 3. Star Shifting. Prioritize selecting enemies to, in symmetrical position, leaving a clone behind in place, and teleporting behind the enemy to attack surrounding enemies, dealing 1100% physical damage and reducing their attack speed and haste by 50%, lasting 8 seconds. Absolutely disgusting. And then his passive, Avatar Projection. Immune to crowd control effects once every 9 seconds, briefly disappears after leaving a clone behind in place, then reappears. This guy is one of the most annoying characters in the entire game to kill because he keeps spamming all these freaking clones. Now, you pair him up with our girl Aphrodite, or even any other unit out there that can build up rage for our boy Wukong, and he's going to be spamming those clones over and over and over and over. And you do not want to get on a one-on-one battle with Wukong, because it's basically getting into a battle of 1 versus 3. Okay? This dude is an absolute monster, and I love every bit of it. Now, let's see if we can actually look at his Awaken from in here. No, we still can't. So, sorry guys, we'll have to wait on that one. But yeah, those are my top 3 non-later dark units in the entire game. Aphrodite at number 3. Valkyrie coming at 2, and Wukong coming in at number 1. Now, I'll be honest with you guys and gals. I would not fight you or argue or dispute you. If you want to move any of those 3 in any order between the top 3, you can make Aphrodite number 1 if you want. If you think that she's super crucial in your team because of how free to play she is, how many copies you get of her, the fact you can awaken her for free, and the fact that, you know, she's basically giving either Wukong or Valkyrie an amazing buff and allowing them to utilize their ultimates multiple times. You can even throw Valkyrie at number 1. You can throw Wukong at number 1 or 3. It doesn't matter. Those 3 to me are interchangeable. They're all top tier units in the game. And then coming in just a tier below that, again, is like Prometheus, Eros, and then Edward. So that would be like your top 6 units in the entire game, non-later dark and non-paywall, like our big boy SP Wukong. And it's kind of fitting to me that my favorite and my best unit, in my opinion, non-later dark, maybe even with later darks, I'd have to really explore a little bit more, is Wukong. And then the big paywall unit is also Wukong. Wukong owns this game. He runs this shit. So I love it. But I did promise you guys some pulls here at the end, so let's go ahead and get it going. Sorry the video was a little bit long, but I wanted to kind of clarify and add some context to some of these units and stuff like that. Now, while we're actually here, how do you get some of those units outside of getting chests and events and just your universal shards you can use to craft additional copies of those units? Well, you can also utilize the wish function after you've done 100 pulls, which you'll do after day 1. As you can see here, we have a Wukong and a Valkyrie in here. Now, you could also throw Edward in there. You could throw Aphrodite in there. You can throw any units in there that you want. You can do 2 at a time, and you have a 40% chance of whenever you pull a unit that it's going to be one of those 2. So that's going to be very, very cool. And when I say unit, I mean epic, not any unit. That'd be kind of broken. All right, so let's do these 9 designated pulls first. This is your light and dark banner, by the way. I have Raphael, I believe, as my wish unit for this. This is more of a pay-to-win banner. I mean, over time, you will be able to utilize this as a free-to-play if you do play the long game. But early on, this is definitely going to be whale bait. So I would not fall into the trap of using a lot of your currency to buy these pulls. I would stick to the other ones. Okay. So far, nothing good here. We have 6 more to go. It'd be nice if I could speed this up, honestly, but it is what it is. And the light and dark banner, the designated banner, if you will, is a mixed gacha, if you couldn't already tell. The normal banners are not mixed gacha. They're just pulls for units, so don't worry. And by the way, when you guys see a hero event going on, go to the hero event and then go down to the shop. It is discounted, and you can actually buy your normal summons for basically half the price, almost half the price. So I would definitely recommend doing that, so you're getting more summons for less gems. Matter of fact, if I was you guys and gals, I would never buy pulls if you're free to play for the full price gems ever. I would just wait for those events to come around. Okay, so those are all duds. Got that out of the way. Now let's do our friendship pulls, which can also pull epics or SSRs, if you will. I'm gonna go ahead and do a 10 pull, and we got nothing. We got nothing. It happens. We did get a couple single shards though for SSRs, including our boy Dark Knight, which I have on this account. I love Dark Knight. He just looks awesome. All right, we're going to do 8 singles, and then we're going to do our 8 multis. See if we can get something good here. Obviously, we're looking for more Valkyries. We're looking for more Wukongs. I built Wukong very late on this particular account, but I have him mained on some of my other accounts. So I have used him quite a lot, and as well as Valkyrie. Just trying to gauge, what kind of teams I can build around them, what's the more optimal build, how far you can push content as a free-to-play, etc., etc. And my goodness, those 2 heroes are crazy. 4 more to go. Yeah, these single summons suck. They take forever. But I have OCD, and I just want... My OCD was kicking in. I just couldn't have those weird numbers there. It's like, if I can't do a multi, I'm just going to burn these singles. You're not really benefiting or hurting yourself either way if you do multis or singles. Only thing you're doing is just, you're killing time. All right. 1 more pull and then 8 multis. I believe we're also going to have an element ticket as well that you can also utilize to pull for certain units that you want. All right. Let me claim that. And yeah, I think we're going to have to go through that a couple more times. The pity rewards there, to get another element ticket. Well, let's do our first multi. We might hit it right here. There we go. And we got Wukong. All right. So we got the boy. That's awesome. Now, when you do pull a Wish Hero, it will remove them from the list for the day. That means now if I hit the 40%, it's going to be Valkyrie guaranteed. And then when they're both pulled once in that day, you can play the long game and wait till the next day before you summon again to just keep, better increasing your chances of only getting the 2 units that you want. But that might set you back quite a bit of time because you're going to have to wait and wait and wait, obviously. Otherwise, if you keep pulling, you can still pull these 2 units multiple times throughout the day, but you're no longer going to get that 40% chance of it guaranteeing to be one of those 2. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's keep going. 7 more multis. We did not go early. And funny enough, I've done thousands of summons, multiple accounts on this game, and I've only actually had 2 SSRs drop and 1 multi once, and it was actually on the freaking friendship summons of all places. That's crazy to me. Looks like the game's going to make us go full pity here. We're close to it. Yep, 10 more to go. Let's see it. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Valkyrie now? We're going to hit that 40% rate? No. We got Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Cuckoo Khan. Looking beast. He's another solid unit as well if you want to run a burn team. He's a lot of fun. All right. So, looks like we pulled 5 before pity there. So, now we only need 25. Now we need 15. We're going to definitely guarantee to get at least 1 more SSR here. Oh, we want really early there. Well, not really early. We want a little bit early. Which might allow us to get 1 more. Okay, we got our girl Valkyrie. So now we've hit on our 40%. Probably on both those. They're now done. Now, if I get either of those two, it's going to be completely up to chance. It's going to do 2 more. We might get lucky and get another SSR here. If we can go early on the next pull. Give me what I want, game. Go early. Go early. Damn it. All right. So we need 10 more pulls, which we won't be able to do right now in today's video, unfortunately. But we might have a ticket here. I don't remember if we're close to one or not. Yes, we are. Cool. So we will get an element ticket. And now I'm really chasing down Wukong. So I'm going to go with Earth Element and hope that it's a Wukong. And it's not. I got freaking Spartacus again. Spartacus my ass. Okay. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys all enjoyed that breakdown. I guess we could feed in our Wukong real quick. See, our Valkyrie is at the point now where we need 100 shards to star her up because she's in the Ancients now. Wukong, though, we can go ahead and star him up. 2 red star now. Go 1 more node over. All right. So that's going to be it for me. If you guys liked the video, obviously, hit the like button. Subscribe, take notifications. Join us in the Discord description below. As always, if you guys are liking the game so far, let me know that more. If this was helpful, again, let me know. What is your favorite hero in the game? Not necessarily the top units in the game, but what is your favorite hero in the game? Either by design, skill set, maybe even tell me what your favorite team is. And what is your favorite element? Who has the best collection of units per element in your honest opinion? Let me know all that and more, and I'll be sure to read as many as I can. Until next time, as always, peace.